improving organisations as complicated as MOD.
Brilliant. Thank you much. Alex Baker.
Thank you, Chair.
It's complicated.
Secretary of State, so since you've been in the job, have you actually had a formal briefing on the NATO Support and Procurement Agency, the NATO Communications and Information Agency, these NATO facilities, and how the UK could use them?
I haven't had a specific formal briefing on those, Ms Baker, but those have been part of some of the discussions that I've had when I've been up at NATO headquarters, and we've been meeting as defence ministers, particularly on the margins of some of those meetings.
I ask you about that because, you know, government is clear that we take a NATO first approach. The NAD has told us when he came to see us before Christmas that multilateral procurement, joint procurement is definitely part of the solution of how we move forward. We get all these services, these facilities through our NATO membership. We're paying for them already, yet from everything I can see, the UK does not use these facilities. Germany has just procured 8 Sea Guardian remotely pilot aircraft. They're getting all the tax benefits and cost benefits. Spain, Italy, these countries are all using these agencies, yet the UK are not engaged at all from what I can see. Given money is tight, can we really afford to be paying for a facility and then not using it and instead replicating it through our own departments, replicating the services that we could use through NATO?
One of, quite rightly, the top priorities of Mark Rutte when he became Secretary General of NATO was a greater drive to see more joint commissioning and interoperable standards through NATO across our defence systems, something that I and we are really strongly behind. I will provide the committee, if you'll allow me, Mr. Chairman, a note with how far we're using those.
Thank you.
But where there are multilateral mechanisms like the OCCAR system, and we can use them, and they're appropriate, we do use them. But I'll just say the principle that we don't do some of the big things alone isn't just about using the multinational systems. If you look at the Lunar House Agreement, at the heart of it, the biggest ever British warship deal that we've struck with Norway, that isn't about us selling to Norway. That is about two nations jointly now commissioning our anti-submarine hunting frigates, the future upgrade of systems that we'll need, doing it together, because that allows us not just to have interoperable standards and equipment, it allows us effectively to have combined navies that will help keep the North Atlantic and High North safe in the future. So the combination and the principle that we do things with allies where we can and where it produces a better security or a better value for money is a really sound one, a really important one.
Great to hear. I just fear that we are not using these agencies because we generally think we know best, and that actually we just have had a tradition of not using them, so we continue to not use them. Would you commit to going and actually taking a fact-finding mission to look at those NATO facilities and whether we could use them going forward?
Well, let me first of all commit to providing you the chapter and verse in the areas you're interested in. Then take a view about whether you think we're using them effectively or sufficiently. I will do the same at that point.
Great, thank you.
Thank you much, Lincoln Job.
Cabinet Secretary, hopefully a very quick one. I think it was about November 2024 we had one of these sessions with the Secretary of State and your predecessor, and at that the then Permanent Secretary said that he would reduce the number of full-time equivalent civil servants in the Ministry of Defence by 10% over the course of this Parliament. I reconfirmed that that was indeed the Secretary of State's aim in the Chamber of the House of Commons subsequently. Just seek reassurance that that is indeed still your aim.
So it is a part of the SDR efficiency programme. The commitment is to reduce between 2026-27 to 2029-2030, just to be precise. Reduction in civil service workforce costs of 10% is the aim that we set out in the SDR. The reassurance I would give you and give the committee is that the numbers are are declining, and the latest information I have is we were just a little bit over 55,000 full-time equivalent civil servants at the start of December last year, 2025. I mean, I would note, though, this is best done as part of a sort of a serious efficiency programme, which is the thing that we need to put in place. Civil servants provide incredibly valuable work, and something that I have heard clearly from military colleagues is at times there can be benefit in civil servants taking on roles that the military have done historically, and that ultimately that can be a better way of creating a sort of integrated force, and the Vice Chief may want to talk about this. So we need to approach this carefully in a way that optimises value for money, make sure that we can provide the support we need, that in particular the National Armaments Director has a group that has the scale and the expertise that it needs in order to ensure that we can deliver the equipment that our military need.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, on to Derek Twigg.
Thank you, Chair. Can we just go back to the SDO, and why has the MOD not agreed